So, uh, Mauricio Ruffy fought at UFC 309 a couple nights ago, and he looked great. He looked great. I was introduced to Mauricio Ruffy maybe last month. Uh, Funniest thing was it was because of a TikTok edit. The person who made the edit was comparing him to Conor McGregor, and he looked like Conor. It was a lot of training camp footage though, some fights, but mostly training camp footage, and he looked very much like Conor McGregor. I don't know what the fuck he had been doing, but I bought into the hype. Uh, Maybe he was making calls with fucking Ito Portal, that guy that fucking Conor works with to help Conor get loose and shit. That's what I mean, man. In that training camp footage and the footage of his early fights, Rufi looked really loose, uh, almost in flow state throughout the entire fucking fight. Looked amazing. But yeah, and then we have UFC 309 where he's to fight James Yantop. Yantop, new UFC fighter, only has two fights in the UFC, lost both of them. Kind of heartbreaking stuff. So I thought Rufi would probably get this done pretty quick. Um, and when the fight happened, Rufi comes out. He doesn't. He looks like Conor. In the first minute or so, very wide stance, just like Conor would come out. But as the fight progressed, he kind of lost that Conor vibe. Nevertheless, Rufi looks amazing. Absolute sniper with his striking, powerful, precise, and artistic. Deadly combo. Loved it. Jan Top held up. Any lesser fighter would have fucking been knocked out by maybe the first clear connection that Rufi threw. But James Jan Top is a dog. He showed that night. Ate all of Rufi's shots and kept coming fucking forward. Much respect to Jan Top. Again, 3 losses is not great. I really hope the UFC holds on to this guy because he has a hell of a chin and a hell of a spirit. But credit to Rufi, who again looked absolutely incredible, and I think he has a bright future ahead of him in the UFC. And the first sign of him having that bright future is him calling out Benoit Saint Denis. Absolute smart move, Chad move, business move, great move. Benoit, a lot of us know and love Benoit. I like Benoit. I wouldn't consider myself a Benoit Saint Denis fan, but I like it. I really, really like him. It hurts to see him take those 2 devastating losses. He's been on a losing streak. While it's only 2, still a streak. And, those 2 losses were devastating on top of all of it. He got knocked out, flat out KO'd by Dustin Poirier. And then in the following fight, just got ground and pounded to oblivion by Renato Moicano. So Benoit hasn't had the best of luck recently. And I think this fight is also hard for Benoit. Not incredibly hard, but hard because Mauricio Rufi, again, is a really, really talented high-level striker. So I think for Benoit to be victorious, he's going to have to bring this fight to the ground. And I think Benoit is gifted in the ground game aspect of things. I think he was just taken off guard by how fast, hungry, and mean Renato Moicano was. I think Benoit was prepared for a fight on the feet for at least a little while and was really just taken off guard by Renato Moicano's immediate takedown attempt. So, going into this fight against Mauricio Rufi, if this fight would be made, I think there's a couple things that you really have to keep in mind. The first thing being the first thing being Benoit Saint Denis' losing streak. While it's always possible for a fighter to get back up on their feet, there are some times where a losing streak will have a really big effect, either make them chinny, scared, hesitant, or just quit altogether. So I really hope Benoit doesn't do any of those and just continues being his same old self, going for the win. Vicious ground game, pretty good striking or really good striking, and just being hungry to have an all-out war and a battle. That's the Benoit I want to see, especially if he was to fight Mauricio Ruffy, because he would need to bring all that against a fighter like Mauricio Ruffy. Okay, Ruffy's hungry, he's strong, he's again very precise, very smart with his striking, and artistic, like I said. And it's going to take a lot for Benoit to bring a guy like that to the ground and to dominate there. I don't think Benoit wins on the feet by any means because, again, Ruffy is really just cunning and smart on the feet, you know. So I think that'll be too much for Benoit. So, like I said, Benoit has to capitalize on the ground. He's got to figure out how to get takedowns, really how to shoot for takedowns really well in a timely manner. And once on the ground, he's got to work back takes. He's got to work viciousness, activity, constant ground and pound, stuff like that to throw Ruffy off his game. Because, like I said, Ruffy is on this streak now, and Benoit is on this slump. So when these two meet, it's Ruffy who has the momentum. So it's up to Benoit to build the momentum back up for himself. So if I had to give you guys specifics on how I feel like this fight plays out and who I think would win, when I thought about this fight being made, that is, you know, as soon as Ruffy called out Benoit, I thought Ruffy would win. I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh man, Ruffy is just, he's on this streak. And like I said, his striking is so beautiful and artistic. And I think he'll be able to bring that same shit into a fight with Benoit. But then I thought about Benoit. And first, I thought about his losing streak, you know, the devastating losses he's taken. But then I think about the fighter Benoit is as a whole. He's really well-rounded. Like I said, he's vicious, he's energetic. He goes in for wins. He's hungry as well. And I think he has the ability to learn. So with all that being said, I'm going to trust Benoit Saint Denis to get it done. It's a tough fight for Benoit, like I said, because Ruffy's on this climb. He's getting all this hype. He's from a big MMA gym now that's getting all this traction. He's on a roll. And that's so that it makes it a really tall task for Benoit, you know? But I think Benoit's up for the challenge. I think he will learn. I think he will figure out weaknesses for Ruffy. The takedowns, the ground and pound, the ground game. I think Benoit will perfect those things, or at least work on those things heavily and bring it into his potential fight with Ruffy. And with all that, I think Benoit will be able to overwhelm Ruffy. And I'm gonna be a little bit fun and spicy here and go. Benoit takes this fight in a third round submission, with a third round submission. He gets some takedowns throughout the first two rounds, wins those first two rounds, and in the third, he gets another takedown, but this time he chases for the back, gets the back, and maybe it'll be a rear naked choke. I know it's a bit of a redundant and a basic submission, but I think Benoit will be able to lock it in. So Benoit by rear naked choke in the third round against Mauricio Ruffy, if this fight were to be made. But let me know what you think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. But most importantly, subscribe. I love you guys, and I'll see y'all in the next.